Hey guys, I am doing a kind of a challenge. Not really a challenge, but Tara Jacobson, who runs Marketing Artfully and has a YouTube channel that has a lot of Etsy tips, so you can go look at her channel also. She's going to do this same listing, and so am I. And we're both going to do separately, and then we're going to get together toward the end of the week and compare notes. So watch for that. And what the reason that we chose this is number one, it's digital, and people tend to ignore digital listings, when they're doing critiques and that kind of thing. The owner of this shop gave us permission to use this, and she says that she just has trouble thinking of things to describe it, which, yeah, because it's a tooth fairy letter. So how many ways can you describe that? Well, one thing that benefits you if you have a niche product is that you can really get down and dirty and clump on purpose, and just you can show up for every search relating to this if you figure it out. All right. So since there's not going to be very many, I mean, you're definitely speaking to a very specific market for this particular product. You need to kind of go at it from a different perspective. And because the competition on this is low, you can really get in there and like do a little copywriting in your title. You don't have to be as matchy with the tags and title and the whole thing, but I'll get into that in a minute. What you want to do if you have a product that you just can't find any good words for, and this came up because in the Marmalead group on Facebook, there were people talking about not being able to find good keywords for their products. And everything was coming up with red, red, red. You couldn't find good search and engagement numbers. So we decided to do this one as an example of what you should do if that happens. So I took the term tooth fairy because this is really a tooth fairy letter or a tooth fairy certificate, something like that. But tooth fairy is going to be your main anchor keyword, which is this is the basic gist of the whole thing is about the tooth fairy, right? So look up tooth fairy and make sure that people are actually searching for that on Etsy, and they are. So they're searching 350 to 400 times a month. They're actually clicking through to multiple listings, so that's good. And the competition is on the low side. So you don't have to worry about tremendous numbers of competition. And this is every single item that has tooth fairy in it. So it could be jewelry, it could be the little pillows that they put the teeth in. Every single listing that has the word tooth fairy on Etsy is included in this. So what she's selling is a tooth fairy letter, and that's going to be even less competition. So let's put that in, right? And this is where you get into trouble, because if you have a specific keyword to begin with, it's not going to have huge amounts of searches. And as soon as you add descriptors and qualifiers to it, it's going to be even lower. And this is where people get into trouble and they're like, oh no, I can't find any good keywords. Okay, so this is what happens. You have 50 to 100 searches and 50 to 100 engagement. Now this could be one search a month. You don't know. It probably is not, but this is the problem, because it looks like they're clicking through at the same rate of engagement as searches, but you don't know for sure. So what you want to do in a case like this is to just use tooth fairy as your keyword. Just think of tooth fairy as your main keyword, and everything else is just extra terms that Etsy can use to match for long tail keywords. Now, how many long tail searches, I should say, you have to, I have to keep in mind it's like long tail searches and keywords, because there aren't really long tail keywords per se. There are, but they're individual words that match long tail searches. Okay. So if you look over here, this is similar shopper searches on Etsy. It's all this stuff with teeth, tooth fairy, decor, bags, pillows, everything. So you see every single thing that has another description is going to be red and orange, because there's just not that many searches. The only thing that is green is the tooth fairy pillow, and those are the little pillows that you put the tooth in and then you put it under your pillow or whatever. I don't know how that works now. But my kids are a little older, so we're past the tooth fairy stage. But everything else that's tooth fairy related is not being searched too much. Now you might worry that nobody's searching for it at all. Okay, so what I do is go to Google. I'm on my Chrome browser right now, and I have this keywords everywhere. This little thing here is called keywords everywhere. It's a little app that you can install on your Chrome browser, and you can find it in the I don't know, the Chrome browser app store. I don't know where that is. I guess you go here and get your apps. But this basically brings the Google keyword analytics into every single search. So if you look up tooth fairy, see here it says 9,900 times a month people search for tooth fairy on Google. So people are searching for tooth fairy. They are searching for tooth fairy letter on Google. Okay, now this is tooth fairy letter on Google, not on Etsy, but it gives you an idea that it is something that people are searching for. Okay, they are searching for printables. It's not very much, and this is Google, so but it is being searched. I guess there's a movie called The Tooth Fairy with The Rock in it. I found that out today while I was looking this stuff up. But Tooth Fairy ideas, certificate, 880 a month. So there are things that are being searched. 1,300 a month for Tooth Fairy letter template. If you're selling that, I'm not sure if this would be considered a template or not, but you could consider using that word if that's something that you want to do. But it tells you that this is being searched, so you don't have to worry about it not being something that anybody ever looks for. So one thing I do is to try to get ideas for this kind of thing that you're going to fill in your tags and stuff with is just click on some of these links and then go right back. Yes, you're hurting their bounce rate. Oh, well. But then what happens is Google will bring up people also search for, and they give you all these other ideas of keywords that people also search for. Okay. So you can kind of take note of these. I've already written a bunch of this stuff down, so I'm not going to go through it again. But these are all ideas, and you should kind of write these all down and then go look at them in Marmalead. But it's not going to give you good results because with such a niche keyword, it's just not going to. As soon as you get into the long tail keywords, it's going to give you very, very low surges and engagement. But that's okay because people are looking for them. They are looking for tooth fairy, and that's your main keyword. Okay, so don't worry about that. So do that. Just make a list of all the words that you can find. And then you can also go to Marmalead. And down at the bottom, after you've written in tooth fairy letter, I think I just did tooth fairy. Let's search tooth fairy because that gave us the most results. What you can do is go down to the bottom of the tags. I'm a couple rooms away from my internet connection, and we all know that slows everything down. All right, so scroll down to the bottom. You grab this here. And it says popular tags. So these are tags that are commonly used. It's not tags on the on the top listings because there is no such thing anymore, but these are commonly used tags. So it tells you how many in the top 100 because that's what this is sorted. And you can sort this for 500 if you want to get more ideas, but you don't need that many because you don't have that many tags to fill out. Or you can look on here. That'll give you some ideas. Either way, just go down here and write down every single thing that could fit your item, okay? And just go through like 6 or 7 or 8 pages, however many you need. And I made a list here. Okay, so these are the common search terms after checking on Marmalead, or all these things. Okay, and they're highlighted because I use them. I think I use them down below. All right. And then from Google, I pulled up these things as possibilities. These also will give you ideas for other items. You know, if you're looking through this and you start seeing a lot of other terms, it can give you ideas about new products you could do. Anyway, so just make a list of all of the words that you're finding that you could possibly use for your listing. And then you're going to check the competition on Etsy. Like I said, super low competition means you don't need to be as matchy. And what happens here, if you search for tooth fairy, you get 1,700 results, or it's almost 1,800. But then if you go to tooth fairy letter, and I call this follow the orange brick road, which I believe I said in here. You follow the orange brick road. Yep. People tend to click on boxes when they're given them. All right. So first there's tooth fairy with 18,000 results. Now we're down to about 700. And then if you click on tooth fairy letter instant download, that takes you down to 87 results. All right. And here's their listing. So that's good. It's right there. Now, if you go back, let's see, tooth fairy letter printable, there's only 143 results, and there's the listing. You could clump like crazy. If you have 5 tooth fairy letter listings in your shop. You could use this phrase right here. Just make sure that you're using all of these words, and you're going to show up for every single one of these searches. And the results are so low, the competition is so low that you're going to show up and see, there you are right there. You're going to show up for every single one of these listings as long as you have these words in your listing. Now I'm going to put in digital. I don't think that you had digital download. I don't think that was in the listing. And see, now you're not showing up. That listing is nowhere to be found, and there's only one page. So all you have to do is put the word digital in your listing, and you're going to be on this page too. So this is why you need to put different words in. And with this level of competition, you really, really, really don't have to match everything. All right, so what you want to do is try to match like what's in these boxes or whatever you think your best keywords are. Definitely have tooth fairy in the title and the tags. Have it right toward the front of the title and in the tags. And you know, printable. I think I did printable download because we have printable here and download is here. And you know, you just want to have these things matched in the title and tags if they're your best keywords. But with only 666, that's not good. With 670 results, rounding up, you really don't have to worry too much because you're going to be found. All right, so you want to make sure that the words that are in those little orange boxes, if you can see them, that they're in your tags. But, you know, like I said, with this kind of competition, you really don't have to try too hard to be the clumper. You want to be the clumper on this kind of stuff because if somebody is searching for this, they're searching for a very specific reason and they need it now. So there you go. All right, so what we've used Marmalead for, and people are like, I don't know why I'm using Marmalead, because they're not telling me anything. They are telling you something. They're telling you that tooth fairy is popular. They're giving you all this information here. They're giving you all this information here. And anything that you add on top of tooth fairy is going to just make you more available to match more long tail keyword searches. All right. So what I did is I went through, I made a list of all of the words I got from Marmalead and all the words I got from Google, and then all the ones I got from Etsy going down the little orange bricks. Okay. And these are the words that you want to include in your listing based on all of that. I just went through and picked out every single individual word. And then this is what I came up with for the title. Okay. And this is what I came up with for the tags. Oh, stop showing me the edit function. That's what I came up with for the tags. Now, I matched in the title and the tags. I got tooth fairy letter. Well, I didn't have personalized. Let me undo that. There we go. Okay, so tooth fairy letter and tooth fairy letter are in the title and tags. Printable download and printable download. Those are the two keywords that I'm matching in the title and tags. And the reason that I chose those to match is that they're in the little orange boxes. Okay, honestly, you don't have to match printable download, but I just did it for the heck of it because they're in the boxes. You really don't need to do that. Oh, I know why I put that. Okay, personalized was yellow here because I did that just to keep track of what I was using from up here. Okay, so of my list of words, those are the ones that I put in the title. Okay, and of the list of words here, the green ones came from my list of words. All right, so that's what I did. So now for the title, since you don't have to be so matchy and careful because this is really low competition, you can do a little copywriting, sell them a little bit. Okay, so it's not just a personalized tooth fairy letter, it's cute. It's a cute personalized tooth fairy letter kit for girls. Printable download note set includes message and addressed envelope. The envelope thing I got from Google, and just writing a title like this that's written in correct English, grammatically correct with the punctuation, is happier for Google. All right, so if Google is looking for your listing, or if they happen to be looking for something, they might pull this up a little bit better. And then you have to write in the description the same keywords, and that's another Google thing, but that's the reason that I just personally prefer to write like normal sentences if I can. And so you can add the keywords in there. You don't, this has such low competition You don't need to just do a list of keywords, and you don't need to repeat things because they're not gonna score you harder if you have tooth fairy in there 10 times. All you have to have it in there is once and match it in your tags, and that sends the signal to Etsy that that's an important keyword for this listing. All right. So for the tags, tooth fairy letter, printable download. Those are the two that we matched from the title. All right, then the rest I have tooth fairy gift lost, instant last minute, digital receipt mail, teeth card print, milestone keepsake, add your own name, missing handwritten, pulled, swallowed, official, custom, older child, children, first young, and then first with the number 1. These don't need to make sense, especially on something like I said, this has low competition. So what you want to do is put as many keywords in here as you can so that if someone searches for tooth fairy letter for swallowed tooth, okay? Tooth fairy letter, swallowed, and tooth again. That's going to be found, okay? Tooth fairy letter for, or last minute tooth fairy letter. Last minute is right here. Tooth fairy letter is right there. Or you want a keepsake tooth fairy letter. It's going to be found. If you put all of these words in all of your tooth fairy listings, you're going to be found for so many searches on tooth fairy. You're going to be the one that people are complaining about your clumping. So do it. And I mean, this is an opportunity because honestly, if you've got 87 results, and I think how many listings are there per page? It's only like 2 pages of search results, right? 2 pages of search results. And you could be dominating this. You could totally dominate this. And Etsy is telling people, hey, click on this and we'll give you some search results. So they're not even thinking up this keyword. They're just following Etsy's lead and doing what they're telling them to. So you click on here and there you are. But you could also have, if you have 6 other tooth fairy letter kits, you could be all over this too. And there's 115 results here. So how is that, like 2 pages? I don't know how many 3 pages. I think there's like 40 results per page. Is that right? But yeah, so you could be the clumper that everybody complains about with only that many results. That's excellent. So don't be afraid if you're in Marmalead and all of your keywords are getting lost in the abyss of low search and low engagement. Because once you get into a long tail keyword, that could be what happens, especially with a product like this that's really specific for a specific item, for a specific person, for a specific time period, whatever. If it gets that specific, you're not going to get a lot of searches or engagement, but you can still use this information to find out which direction to go. Okay, so go back, kind of take a step back. Go back to your main keyword, which should be tooth fairy, and then go down and see what kind of stuff comes up. And this is the information that you want. You want the low competition. You want to go to Etsy and see what the numbers actually are. Letter from the tooth fairy. Let's just go letter from the tooth fairy. For people who actually type in non-broken English. Okay, so letter from the tooth fairy, there you are. Okay, because tooth fairy letter and letter from the tooth fairy are going to bring back probably similar, if not the same results. Because Etsy tends to ignore the from and the. Oops. Okay, so we have 107 results for that. Wasn't it 600 for the other one? I know, see, that's interesting. So maybe you should put in from, because is it from tooth fairy from letter? Okay, so if you have the word from in, then you're going to knock out 559 of those results. Okay, so Etsy is not ignoring from, it's ignoring the, but it's not ignoring from. Pro tip, keep that in mind. Okay, so let's go back to our title here. First, young, first. See if you can fit the word from in anywhere in here. You might not be able to, but if that's the case, I might go back here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, you can. There you go. Okay, so that's my new tags. Because then if someone puts letter from the Tooth Fairy in their search, your listing will come up. That's something that you need to check. See, because I just assumed they were ignoring it, but they're not. Okay. So that's what I would do. I'm going to make sure I didn't leave anything out. We'll have to see what Tara does. Look at her. I will link to her video. She's going to post it today. And then we'll get together and talk about this later. But there are a lot of ways that you can find words to put in a low competition search. And especially for something this specific, it might seem really difficult, but your tags don't need to make sense. You don't need to research these. That's something else. I don't research tags. I don't care. The tags are just there so that Etsy can match your listing to search queries. They can give the search query a result by matching your tags. They're not there to be researched. You really don't need to worry about that. Don't worry. And I will say that in Marmalead, if you do it this way, your grade is going to be lower. But oh well, because as long as you understand what you're doing, that's okay. It's going to give you a lower grade for matching titles in tags in the title, keywords in both, but that's okay. That's all. All right. So leave me any questions, but go watch Tara's. I have to go watch her video to see what she did. And we might come at this from completely different ways. We might have the same approach. I don't know. We haven't compared notes, so it'll be interesting to see. All right. Like this video if you thought it was helpful, and leave me any questions. I'll answer them when I get a chance.